Hey guys, it's Cory from the South Mountain YMCA camps, and today's Camp from Home segment is going to be Intro to Sailing. So we're going to go over parts of the boat and how to rig and de-rig the boat. There'll be another part where we do sailing basics and how to actually sail the boat. So the boat that we have here today, this is the biggest boat in our camp fleet. It's called the Vagabond. It's a 14-foot sailboat, and it has a detachable boom. And the other boats that we typically use in our sailing programs here is we have the Lasers and the Sunfish. This is going to be a little bit different design because it's not a freestanding mast. So we're going to get into the parts and how to put this thing together. In our Vagabond 14, we're going to go over standard parts of any boat, really. The front of the boat here is called the bow of the boat. You can remember that because you bow forward. On the back of the boat here, you have what is called the stern. So the back is always called the stern. Your left-hand side of the boat, the part that's close to me, left-hand side facing forward, that's called the port. The way that I remember that is the word port has 4 letters, and so does the word left. So port is the left, and then your right-hand side is, the terminology is called starboard. So bow, stern, port, and starboard. And those are your nautical boat features. The main part of the boat, the outside of the boat, they call that the hull. Okay, those are the walls of the boat. And the inside, where you sit, is called the cockpit. Sort of like the same as the cockpit of a plane. All right. You have your the back of the boat. And this boat has one. It's called the Transom. That's typically where you would mount a motor if you're putting a motor. But those are the parts of really any boat. The mast. This is about a 20-foot mast for a 14-foot sailboat. And again, this is not a freestanding mast. So we have stays that help keep it upright. The mast is what the sail sits on the boat. So in order to attach this, there is a hole in the bottom of the mast here that's drilled through it, and then there's a shackle that's attached to the hull and inside the cockpit. And so what we're going to do is we're going to take this bolt and we're going to put it through the hole in the mast into the shackle. And we're going to bolt it on. All right. Now this mast is attached to the boat, and it's allowed to be raised now. And then these metal wire stays are what's going to hold it in place so it doesn't fall over on us. So now that we have the mast attached, before we put the mast up, we're going to want to attach our lines because the lines are going to be 20 feet up in the air and we won't be able to attach them afterwards. So the lines on a sailboat, we have 2 different types of lines. We have halyards and we have sheeting. Halyards raise sails and jibs. Those are the things that catch the wind, and the sheets are the things that trim them. And to trim a sail, that means you either pull it in or let it out. So we have 2 different halyards here. The longer one is going to be the main halyard, that's for the sail, and the shorter one's going to be for the jib halyard. The main halyard goes on top of the mast through a pulley, which is called a tackle, at the top. So that's at the very top. We're going to want to make sure that we have the shackle that clips onto the sail going towards the back of the boat. Okay, so this is the metal shackle that clips onto the grommet on the sail. Okay, or the clew of the sail. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and feed that. So when we put the mast on, we want to make sure that the slot that the sail feeds up on is facing towards the back. And then what I did was I wanted to make sure that the shackle was also facing towards the back of the boat. So when this mast goes upright, it will all come together. I want to do the same thing with the jib halyard. And what I do typically, so we don't lose this as it goes up this mast, is I'll just tie a quick figure 8 knot, and that way we don't lose either end of the rope when we do put the mast up. Because it's really high up, and you have to take the mast down in order to fix your problem.
You need to push in. No, I'm still trying to get it started.
Now we're going to attach the jib halyard. Again, this is not a freestanding mast. This mast requires stays, which are metal wires. There's 3 of them set up in a triangle to make sure that that mast stays in place once we put it up. So we've already attached 2 of the stays to the hull and to the mast, and now we're going to attach the 3rd one, which is at the bow of the boat, and that will, once we secure that, then that mast will be sturdy, upright, and not fall over on us. So Cody's going to go ahead and get part of rigging, we're going to attach this part. There are 3 things that I want to point out on this, what I'm holding right here. This right here, this aluminum pulp, this is called the boom, alright? This is what attaches to the mast and makes the other wall of the triangle for the sail. Attached to the boom we have the mainsail, and the mainsail, as you can see up close here, has these, to keep the shape of the sail, there's these little bars that are in there, and they're usually made of fiberglass or plastic, and they are called battens, B-A-T-T-O-N-S, battens, and those help keep the shape of the sail when you have wind in it. To start this, again, we have what's here is called the clew, so any grommet in sailing terms is called the clew, and we've already set up our halyard. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to take this shackle here and we're going to want to attach the clew to it, okay? And that's what's going to hoist it up. Quick release clamp here. All right. Then on the boom, we have a little metal piece here. And what we do is there's a slot in the mast. So we fit this metal piece into the slot on the mast, and we feed the sail also into that slot. So the sail sort of has this cord stitched into it that stays into the slot, so that way the sail doesn't come away from the mast. So the first thing I want to do, because the top of the sail is the first thing that's going to be riding up, is we are going to attach and slide this cord in the sail right into the slot of the mast. We'll use that. So now, because this halyard is attached to the top of the sail via the tackle at the top of the mast, we can pull this right out. And we just want to make sure that this cord feeds in through. So now that the sail is fed up, now I have to attach that metal slot of the boom into that, and then I'm going to go ahead and tie that off. That secured, we're going to take this halyard and we're going to need to cleat it off, okay? So these black plastic things here, they're called cleats. And what we do is we simply just put a figure 8 knot, a wrap around with a finishing hitch. So I put it here, I wrap it around, make an 8, and I take a loop, twist it, put it around the whole thing, pull it on tight, and now that's secured, I don't have to worry about it. And then I usually just take the excess, and I have these handy slots on this boat where I can take that rope and store it right in there, just like that. So it's out of the way. The next part we want to do is we want to make sure that the mast doesn't ride up. And what we do for that is we use the other cleat here, and we do the same thing. So this rope right here is attached to the bottom, okay? So they call this a boom bang. Boom, B-A-N-G, boom bang. And that makes it so that when you're rocking and rolling and the wind is hitting your sail, that boom doesn't ride up on you, okay? So we're gonna take the boom bang, and we're just gonna clean it right off here, like so. The next thing that we're going to attach here is what is called the jib. It's like a little additional sail that we have. Again, this is part of the thing, so that way it doesn't go way too far on you. So the jib, it's a smaller triangle sail. It has a clew at the top, and the jib actually attaches to the stays. So we put that front stay on the sailboat. This goes in, it twists, and the mast for the jib essentially is the front bow stay. All right, and then we have two sheets that go on either side. I'm going to go ahead and attach those. So the first, all right, I have my clue of the jib and the shackle, so I'm going to go ahead and attach that. And then I'm going to take the this plastic housing here, and I'm going to put it on the stay, give it a twist, and then I can start to raise the jib with the jib halyard. For the lines is the main sheeting. So again, the main sheeting is what we use to trim a sail. And the way that we do this is we start to turn back here at the bow of the boat, the stern of the boat, and we have this line and it with a tackle on it. This is called the traveler. Okay? And the first thing that we want to do is we want to come to the very end of the boom, and we are going to find that this block right here has a nice little under attachment. All right, and what we're going to do is we're going to take this and we're going to tie a bowline knot here. You probably want to check out Tony's knot segments of how to tie a bowline knot on our YouTube channel. That's not a bowline, that's an overhand knot. Alright? So then what we want to do, we want to take the sheet and we want to go through the traveler block, back up around to that end block that we just talked about, of the boom. And it goes through here. And we have another block here. And then it goes into the center cleat. Now the center cleat isn't it's called, what's it called? Clam cleat. And it's an auto locker cleat. Tie a little knot in the end of my little stopper knot in the end of the sheet. That way it's not going to go anywhere. And that's your rigged sailboat. The other two parts that I'll go over we have a dagger board, or what's called a center board or a dagger board. Center boards are fixed, and it never leaves the boat. It only goes up and down. Dagger boards are separate, and they just go down. So you want to make sure that when you use your dagger board, that it goes in the right way. So this one has a fin shape that's fat on this side and thins down. The fat side goes towards the bow of the boat. Do not put in the dagger board unless you are at least 5 feet deep in the water. So I can't put this on now because this sticks out of the bottom of the boat, and you'll damage your boat if you put it in too early and it's too shallow, or if you come in and forget to take it out. So that's really important. The next piece that I'll go over here is the rudder. The rudder is essentially made up of 2 parts. You have the rudder blade and the tiller. The tiller is the housing. When you attach the tiller on these types of boats, you want to make sure that the tiller, the handle, goes underneath the traveler before you attach the points here. So typically on these boats you'll have 2 pins. So you insert the pins onto where the transom is on the stern of the boat, and then I have a little hole drilled through one of my pins, and I just put a little cotter pin right into it. Okay. Again, you want to make sure that this is up while you're in shallow water. Okay. When you're ready to go, you get into deep water, you can put that down, and then when you pull up this little string, that will keep it down, and you can cleat that down as well, and that will make it so it's vertical in the water. And this is what we use to steer. So as a recap, we have the bow of the boat, which is the front. We have the stern, which is the back. We have the left-hand side, which is called the port. The right hand is called the starboard. Okay. The main body of the boat is called the hull, and the cockpit is the opening in which we sit in. Okay. This big pole up here, that's called the mast. Okay. And then we have the sail. The vertical or the horizontal pole here, that's called the boom. Okay. And we also have an additional jib. The mast is held up. This is, again, not a freestanding mast boat like our lasers and our sunfish are, but we have 3 stays. These are those wires that go up. So that's what holds the mast in place. And then we have our jib, which is the smaller sail that that rests on the stays. That's sort of like the mast for the stays. Okay. In addition to that, we have 2 types of lines. We have our halyards. Our halyards are what we attach, and that's what raises the sail and raises the jib. So we have a main sheet and a jib sheet on this boat. And then we have our sheeting. Our sheeting is what we ran through the traveler, the booms, and into the center cleat. And that's what we use to pull the sail in or let the sail out. Okay, you pull the sail in to catch wind, and you can also let the sail out to catch wind, depending on what your angles are. Okay. Our attachment pieces, we have the dagger board, okay, the big wooden thing, and this acts like a fin in the bottom of the water. It makes the boat tack straight, and should you capsize, you can actually use this as a lever to push down and right the boat up. We also have the rudder system. You have your rudder blade and then your tiller. And those are the parts of the sailboat. Tune in next time where we do some sailing instruction.